Hi, I'm John. Welcome back to Underhill Creations and Casting Solutions. I'm in the shop today and I was just going to get set up with this 80-pound set of Alumilite urethane resin, and I thought I'd share with you how I do that from the box to the casting room. Let's get started. So when it shows up, it's going to be in a box like this. You're going to have a spout on top. So you're going to take it out of the box, get it set on an area where you can work on this. Right now this is nice and airtight. Let me give you a close-up of this. Alright, now looking at this, you're going to notice a couple things. One, that there's a plastic seal inside the threads where this spout should go. And another, that there's no hole in this release valve area. And what this does, this allows air to go in so that it flows out the spout a little easier. So, here's a few things we're going to need. To start this out, what I like to do is take a pair of needle nose pliers and a regular standard screwdriver. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in this middle spout here, and I'm going to, right in the center, I'm going to poke a hole to where my pliers will stand upright. As you can see, there's two holes in there, just enough to get the pliers in to grab it. We're going to remove the pliers. Now I'm going to take just a regular screwdriver and I'm going to go at the base of the threads. I don't want to damage the thread, so I want to be in the bottom and just poke a hole. I'm going to do this all the way around, almost all the way around, because the last thing I want to do is knock this into the resin. Now I know a lot of people talk about how they just use a drill bit and they drill this out. Well, the problem is those shavings have to go somewhere. The last thing you want is to put shavings in your resin. So I leave it connected by maybe a quarter of an inch, and then I put my pliers back in that hole. I give it a little twist and pop it right out. So that way my resin isn't contaminated. There's nothing floating around in there now that I have to worry about showing up in my casts. And now what I'm going to do is take the spout. Because these are plastic threads on plastic threads, we don't have to wrap this with anything. It's all pre-tapped. All we're going to do is put it in there and tighten it. And it's just tight enough so when you're done, everything is facing downward. So when I tip this up, my valve is facing down to the floor. And that's all there is to it. Quick and simple. Next, we'll spin this around so you can see this air valve. So this valve basically allows air in when you open the spout, so that way it comes out. You don't have to worry about the spout sucking air back in to get your resin out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a drill bit. This is an 1/8 inch drill bit. I don't want to drill like we would wood, where you go in and out and move shavings in. So what I like to do is just start in the center. I can see slowly that my shavings are coming up, and once I break through, I pop it out. That way, all I'm doing is putting a hole in there to allow air in. It doesn't have to be a very big hole, just big enough to break the seal or the pressure, so when this is tight, no air's leaking, but as you use it, you can loosen it up and allow the resin to come out. So after it's all set up, I put mine underneath the casting rack. So one thing I like to do, mark this container. So this is A, clear. If it were clear slow, I'd put a CS, but I'll write this in a couple spots. A clear, A clear. That way, just in case it gets rubbed off, I also come on my container, A clear, and I write it on my container jug. That way I know I'm not cross-contaminating. And when I need to fill this, I'll open this up and fill this. So this allows me to handle the resin a little easier without having to fill my cups from here and overfilling it and wondering what to do with the excess. I can handle the gallon jugs a little easier, move them around, pour the cups as I need. If I get too much, I can pour it back in the container. Once I get to where I want my jug, when I get enough resin in it, I close the valve. I let this run until the stream gets small just before air gets sucked back in, and I close it. And I give that a couple seconds. As you can see, I've got a pretty crusty rag down here that I let catch the excess. And now I put my lid back on here. So this is closed, this is closed. It's back out of the way, and I've got a gallon to use for casting. And that's all there is to it. Now I've got my gallons that I can refill. So usually, maybe every 5 or 6 months, I'll order a gallon set. That way I can refill them, because these will get a little crusty and hard to manage. One thing I'll also note, the B side often gets harder to remove. So what I've done is, I've taken a screwdriver, and all I did was put a screwdriver underneath this cap on the edge and popped it off. So now, it's not a press cap. I can just unscrew it. I don't have to push down and turn it. As it gets crusty, I can grab it with channel locks and undo it very simply. I know some guys have silicone caps and all that other stuff. I want it tight. I want it airtight, so that way there isn't any air going in and pre-aging my resin, keeping it as fresh as possible. And plus, this way, if it gets knocked over, it's not the plug's not coming off and it's not leaking. So that's how I handle that problem as well. Other than that, it's a busy day in the casing room. As you can see, I've been getting a lot of stuff done, or trying to get a lot of stuff done, but I ran out of resin, so I thought, perfect opportunity to show you what I do. I hope it helps, hope it gives you some ideas, because I will say, buying 80-pound sets, which is 5 gallons of A and B, actually gives you about a gallon of free resin as a price breakdown instead of buying it by the gallon. So if you're using a lot of resin, you might want to consider buying something larger like the 80-pound sets. And as you've seen, it's real simple to get set up and using. So I got to get back to work. So if there's something else you guys want to see, be sure to post a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And check out my other videos on resin casting and pen turning. And don't be afraid to subscribe if you want to see more. Get notifications of when new videos come out. Thanks for stopping in.